Hi, welcome to Health and Social Care. My name's Mrs. Rossiter. I just want to talk to you a little bit about the course so that hopefully by the end of this you'll be a little bit more knowledgeable about how the course is run and how you will be assessed. So just a couple of questions to ponder. Do you want to make a difference to people's lives? And do you want to work in a health and social care or early years setting? Do you enjoy coursework, not just exams? So if you answered yes to any of those three questions, then health and social care could be the course for you. So it's a really, really brilliant course. I love teaching it. It covers such a wide variety of different topics. We look at how to communicate effectively in health and social care. We look at different job roles in health and social care, the personal qualities that people need, barriers to communication. We look at the body system, so it's quite sciencey in the sense that we look at the respiratory system, digestive system, and cardiovascular system. We look at disorders related to those. We do some tests. We look at lots of first aid. 25% of the course is first aid based, so there's lots of practical as well as theory. In the exam, we look at the rights that people have. So people have a right to an advocate, they have a right to choice. This is all linked to health and social care. So people in health and social care have the right to confidentiality, so their data being stored correctly and staff not gossiping. We look at the values of care. We look at the 9 early years values of care that are linked to nurseries. We look at legislation acts. It's such a broad course and it's linked to all sorts of different aspects in health, social care and early years. So how pupils will be assessed, they get assessed in 4 different ways. There are 3 pieces of coursework and 1 exam. Every unit is worth 25% of the final grade. So the first bit of coursework is on communication. This is where we look at how to communicate effectively in health and social care, different personal qualities that people need. We do a trip to a local nursery, so pupils plan an activity to do with children, and then they go to the nursery and they put all of those good communication skills they've been learning about in school into practice. We do that bit of coursework in year 10. The second bit of coursework we start right at the end of year 10 in sort of June time, and we run it through until about Christmas of year 11. This one's all about the body systems, so the cardiovascular, respiratory and digestive systems. We look at different disorders associated to each, measures of health. So pupils do peak flow, BMI and pulse rate tests. The last bit of coursework we do at the end of year 11, so we start it in January of year 11 and run it through until May. This one is all about first aid, so it's about how to assess the scene of an accident, identifying risk and dangers before doing any first aid. Then we look at doing a primary survey. We look at how to treat a range of different injuries and how to apply basic first aid procedures. This course finishes with pupils having a day off timetable where we have a first aid trainer who comes in, runs a course with the pupils, and then they get assessed. And that part of that assessment grade goes towards their final grade, and also they get an additional first aid qualification as well for that one. And the last 25% is a written paper. So this is the exam. Pupils do this exam in year 10. So because this is a Cambridge National Qualification, which I'll explain a little bit more about later, we have a little bit of flexibility and they can do the exam in year 10 or year 11. So I choose to do it in year 10 because pupils don't have all of their other subjects to revise for, so there's not as much pressure. They have more time to revise if they're only revising for the one subject as opposed to revising for 10 different subjects like they might have to do at the end of year 11. So try and teach pupils as practically as possible. Like I said earlier, they get a first aid qualification. We go and visit a nursery. They have to interview family and friends about medical conditions. We do the health tests. They have to plan and prepare a presentation for a health event. We get guest speakers in. So we have a GP, a midwife, a nursery manager who come in and talk to pupils about their. And in terms of links to different college opportunities, so we do health and social care, Cambridge National Level 1 and 2 here. And local colleges offer the level 3 qualification. So Peter Symonds and Barton Peveril offer health and social care level 3. There is a technical diploma that they could do, an extended diploma, and that just depends on the size of the course essentially. So there's one that they could do that's worth 1 A level, and they do it alongside other A levels. There's one that's worth 2, and if they chose the technical extended diploma, that's worth 3 A levels, and that would be primarily what they study at college. If pupils, so obviously this isn't called a GCSE, it's called Cambridge National Qualification Level 1 and 2. It is the same as a GCSE in its size and its rigour. It's accepted by local colleges, so when pupils have to get their average point score, this grade counts towards that score. The reason it's got a different name is because it has quite a high coursework content. So GCSEs tend to be primarily exam based, and these are Cambridge National, so they have exam and coursework, hence why they've got a slightly different name. That's the only difference. It still counts when people want to apply to college, but there's a much higher coursework element. If people want to go on and study A levels, then Peter Symonds have informed me that they'd like pupils to get a merit level 2 in this subject, which is the equivalent to a GCSE grade 6 or a B in old money if they want to go on and do A level courses. So the grading for this subject is pass, merit, distinction, and distinction star. So in terms of jobs related to the course, the slide wasn't big enough to put all the jobs that could possibly link to this course, but I've just put a few down there. So things like it leads nicely into nursing, teaching, especially primary teaching, midwifery, counsellors, dental technicians, mental health nurses. I think because we look at how to communicate effectively in all sorts of different jobs in health and social care, the first aid element obviously can lead on to different areas, that the sciencey side with the body systems that links into so many different jobs, and the NHS are one of the biggest employers in the UK, and there are many different job roles within the industry. So I mean, at this age people probably aren't going to know exactly what they want to do when they're older, but I think this would be a great course if people feel that they have quite a caring nature and would like a job that involves working with other people, looking after other people, just because of the wide variety of skills that they will acquire during this course. The last thing that I wanted to say was that there's a lot of coursework, so it's 75% coursework. Now this needs to be done in school, therefore pupils do need good attendance if they're going to do well in this subject. If you've got any more questions, then please message me at school, send me an email. It's Mrs. Rossiter, and I'll endeavour to help you out.